There is a gift in this moment, and I hope you decide to accept it once and for all. It is the gift of ultimate clarity about this outgoing president. Democrats, independents, real Republicans, you all now know, just based on the last 24 hours alone, this guy is the worst ever. He is the worst president we have ever seen.
George W. Bush put out a little short 3-4 minute video about how we all need to come together. This is a time for national unity. Just like he did after 9/11, you'll recall. He's lied us into 2 wars that led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Afghans and Iraqis, over 15,000 dead Americans, 7,000 of them troops, 8,000 plus of them contractors. The 2 wars that he lied us into then spilled over into other regions, and now we've got a civil war going on in Syria. You've got a military crackdown in Egypt with al-Sisi, torturing and murdering people. Libya is a screaming, flaming mess. I suppose you could throw some of that back into the Obama administration. But, step by step, right across the Middle East, George W. Bush's, well, actually, no. The Obama administration came after George W. Bush, and Bush was the one who set up this whole deconstruction of the Middle East, the destruction of the Middle East.
Period. He has not only proven to be incompetent, but he is indeed truly inhumane. He has denied the hungry. He has denied our warriors. He has denied a pandemic, and he does not give a damn about anything but lying about it all and faking his own greatness. That is the truth. It is demonstrated by everything we have seen. It must be his legacy. And those who have ignored and empowered him, those who have solicited this brand of his own horrible actions towards others, are complicit. He must be remembered as the worst, if only for this alone, and if only this is what we had seen, it would already make him the worst.
So we've got this NPR documentary now that's coming out about George W. Bush, and this recent clip where he's calling for national unity, and it appears as a full court press on to try to clean up his legacy. So I think it's time to ask the question, which president has done more harm to America, George W. Bush or Donald Trump? I mean, just consider, Bush left over 52,000 Americans with shattered bodies, an epidemic of suicide and PTSD that continues to this day. And Bush had been planning this for a while. Back in 1999, he told Mickey Herskowitz, who was the guy that his family hired to ghostwrite his autobiography, A Charge to Keep. This is what Bush told. Herskowitz had recorded over 100 hours of audio tape of interviews with George W. in preparation for the writing of the first draft of his autobiography, of Bush's autobiography. And this is one of the things that Bush told Mickey Herskowitz. Keep in mind, 1999, this was back when everybody thought in 2000 Jeb Bush was going to be the guy running for president. All right, but Bush and Rove had been planning this thing, and this is what Bush said to Mickey Herskowitz. He says, one of the keys to being seen as a great leader is to be seen as commander-in-chief. My father had all this political capital built up when he drove the Iraqis out of Kuwait, and he wasted it. By wasted, of course, Bush means that he had a war that lasted only 100 hours, so 3-day war. He should have had a war that ran all the way up till, the election. Anyhow, back to Bush's quote. If I have a chance to invade, George W. Bush told Mickey Herskowitz in 1999, if I have a chance to invade, if I had that much political capital, I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to get everything passed that I wanted to get passed, and I'm going to have a successful presidency, end quote. And you'll recall right after he got reelected in January of 2005, George W. Bush, sure enough, he had run for Congress in Texas. He lost, but it was back in 78, I believe it was. He ran on the platform of ending Social Security, just moving it all over to the banks in New York and making it a voluntary system. privatizing Social Security. And he lost. Surprise, surprise. And so in 2005, after he had all this political capital from winning a war in Iraq, mission accomplished, remember that? He started traveling around the country. He visited about 15 or 20 cities, making a sales pitch for doing away with Social Security. And weirdly, every place he went and gave this sales pitch, his popularity ratings went down rather than up. And finally, he just gave up on it. And at the end of 2005, he said, okay, screw that. But who do you think did the most damage to America? Who was the worst president? Trump, Trump's hatred, his racism, his xenophobia, his damage to international relations, his pulling us out of the climate talks, or George W. Bush with torture, extrajudicial murder, passing the Patriot Act, spying on Americans. Remember Ed Snowden, revealed all that stuff to us?